Have you ever stood in the bathroom late at night, wondering why it still feels like you're not fully done, or why your body no longer responds the way it used to? You're not alone. For many men over 60, those quiet frustrations become part of daily life, but they don't have to be. What if, starting tonight, you could begin restoring what time has slowly taken, without pills, procedures, or awkward routines? My name is Dr. Mark, and for over 3 decades, I've helped men reconnect with their strength, confidence, and vitality in ways that are both natural and deeply effective. Tonight, I'm going to share 5 gentle but powerful habits you can begin right from your own bed. Each one takes just a few minutes, but together, they can make a world of difference. If you're ready to feel more like yourself again, stay with me. We'll begin with step 1 in just a moment. 1. Relax your muscles with magnesium. Tonight, take 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate about 1 hour before bed. Let me tell you about a man named Harold, a retired high school principal who came to see me a few months ago. He was 72, steady on his feet, and sharp as ever in conversation. But behind his polite smile, there was something weighing on him. "Doc," he said quietly, "I'm not looking for miracles or wild nights. I just want to feel like myself again." He told me about waking up 2 or 3 times a night to pee, the awkward dribble that sometimes followed him out of the restroom, and the quiet disappointment he felt each morning when he woke up without an erection. Now Harold was in decent health, no major illnesses, no dramatic drops in testosterone, but something was clearly off. So I ran a simple blood test and, just as I suspected, his magnesium levels were low, very low. What many men don't realize is that magnesium is one of the most crucial minerals for male health after 60, and it's one of the first to quietly slip away. This single mineral is involved in more than 300 functions in the body, but for men like Harold and maybe like you, 3 of those functions matter the most: relaxing your muscles, calming your nerves, and opening your blood vessels. Let's break that down. When your pelvic muscles stay tight all day, from stress or poor posture or even unconscious clenching, they lose flexibility. When your blood vessels narrow instead of opening wide, blood can't flow where it needs to go. And when your nervous system stays stuck in a low-level state of tension, your body never fully shifts into rest or recovery. That means no deep sleep, no hormone repair, and certainly no rock-hard erections in the morning. Magnesium glycinate helps undo that tension. It encourages your body to breathe again. The glycinate form in particular is gentle on your stomach and easy for your body to absorb. Unlike cheaper forms like magnesium oxide or citrate that often pass right through you or cause cramping. I started Harold on just 200 milligrams before bed. Nothing extreme. And the results? Within 2 weeks. He was only getting up once a night to pee instead of 3 times. Within a month, he was waking up with natural, solid morning erections again. But what he said next was what really hit home for me. "I don't care about showing off or chasing anything. I just feel like I'm back in my body, like I'm not fading anymore." That's the power of giving your body what it's been quietly asking for. If you're someone who finds it hard to fall asleep or wakes up still feeling tired, this one change could transform your nights. Because the truth is, sleep after 60 is not optional. It's where your body repairs the very systems that support your strength, focus, and manhood. Blood vessels heal, hormones rebalance, and your nervous system finally gets to reset. So tonight, just before bed, take 1 or 2 capsules of magnesium glycinate with a small glass of water. No big routines, no pressure, just one quiet shift to help your body find its rhythm again. Think of it as clearing the first blockage on the path back to yourself. And this, my friend, is only the beginning. Because while magnesium sets the stage, there are simple movements you can do from your bed that take things to the next level. They retrain the muscles around your bladder and the base of your penis, restore control, and renew sensation. No gym required, no equipment, less than 10 minutes. Yet most men overlook them and pay the price in both the bedroom and the bathroom. So if this has been helpful so far, let me know by typing the number 1 in the comments, and if you're ready to keep going. The second step is where it starts to get really interesting. Let's keep moving forward. 2. Loosen tight hips with these bed stretches. Set aside just 6 minutes tonight for 3 easy in-bed stretches. That's all it takes to start turning the tide. I remember a man named Walter who came to see me a while back. He was a retired firefighter in his early 70s. Proud, strong, and not one to complain unless something really mattered. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I'm leaking after I pee, and it's been months since I woke up feeling any kind of drive down there." His voice didn't sound panicked, just tired, like a man who missed feeling like a man. We talked for a while, and then I asked him one question. "Can you put your socks on standing up?" He chuckled and said, "Not without tipping over." What does that have to do with erections or bladder control, as it turns out? Quite a bit. You see, most older men slowly lose hip mobility without realizing it. Years of sitting, driving, and avoiding stretches because they seem silly or uncomfortable leave the hips. Groin and pelvic floor tight and locked. That tightness pulls on your pelvic floor like a rope that's wound too tight, and your pelvic floor is the cradle that holds your bladder and supports your erections. When it's stiff, blood flow weakens, nerve signals dull, and your ability to release fully after peeing or to maintain a firm erection starts to fade. So what's the answer? We gently restore flexibility, not with intense workouts or awkward floor routines, but with 3 stretches you can do while lying in bed. Walter was doubtful at first. "You're telling me that moving my legs in bed is going to help me in the bedroom?" I smiled and said, "Yes, exactly." The first stretch is a groin opener. While lying on your back, bring one knee toward your chest, then gently let it fall to the side. No forcing, just let gravity guide you. Hold for 30 seconds and switch sides. It might feel a little odd at first, but within a few days, that tight pull starts to ease. You'll notice your hips open a bit more, and your lower body begins to feel looser, lighter. Next comes a gentle motion we call stirring the pot. Pull both knees up and begin making slow circles with them, as if drawing big rings in the air. This isn't just about the hips. It sends subtle movement through your pelvic nerves and massages the areas around your bladder and prostate. Walter said he could actually feel parts of his body waking up, like flipping on lights in a room that had been dark for years. The last one is the cobra stretch. Lie on your stomach, place your palms near your shoulders, and slowly press your chest upward, keeping your hips on the bed. It's like a soft upward push that reaches deep into your abdomen and pelvis. This stretch helps bring blood and flexibility back to the core muscles that support both urination and arousal. Walter told me it felt like releasing pressure from a bottle that had been sealed too long. These 3 stretches don't require athleticism or perfect form, just your body, your breath, and a few quiet moments before sleep. No mats, no floor, no struggle to stand up or sit down. It's all done from the comfort of your bed, and after a few weeks. Walter came back and said, "Doc, I didn't know how stuck I was until I started moving again." That's the beauty of it. You don't need to be young or flexible. You just need to begin. The more consistent you are, the more your hips unlock, your pelvic muscles respond, and the body you thought was giving up starts coming back to life. Your bladder begins to signal more clearly. Your erections begin to respond more naturally. And it all starts with a few quiet minutes at night. But before we move forward, let me give you a gentle warning. There's one habit that most men do during their bathroom trips that completely works against this progress. It's subtle, almost automatic, but it's sabotaging your results. Let's fix that next. 3, double void trick to stop the dribble. Tonight, before you head to bed, I want you to try something simple that could quietly transform your confidence. It's called the double void technique, and while it might sound unfamiliar, its impact is far from small. Let me tell you a story about a man named Leonard. He was 68 when he walked into my office, retired from decades as a mechanic, precise in everything he did, from his tools to his daily routine. He always arrived early, carried a worn notebook filled with questions, and followed every bit of advice with quiet dedication. But that day, his voice held frustration. "Doc," he said, "I finished peeing, zip up, and 2 minutes later I feel a warm drop. Sometimes more than one. I've started carrying a spare pair of underwear just in case. What's going on with me?" That moment wasn't about embarrassment. It was about dignity. And Leonard is far from alone. This post-pee dribble is one of the most common and quietly distressing issues men face after 60. It may seem like a small nuisance, but it's a sign, a signal that your bladder isn't fully emptying, and your pelvic floor muscles aren't releasing the way they once did. I asked Leonard a question I often ask in these situations. "Have you ever tried double voiding?" He looked puzzled. Most men are. It's not something we're taught, but it's a simple, powerful act of reclaiming control. Here's what I told him. After you think you've finished urinating, pause for a moment. Don't rush. Take a deep breath. Soften your shoulders. Let your belly relax. And then gently try again. Give your body a chance to fully let go of what's left in the bladder. What often happens, especially in older men, is that the nerves controlling the bladder and pelvic floor don't fire in perfect sync like they used to. The brain says we're done before the body actually is. That second gentle push allows the bladder to catch up and fully empty. Leonard gave it a try that night. He said he felt silly at first, just standing there, breathing at the toilet. But then, a second stream came, smaller, but real. And from that point on, the dribble began to disappear. Within a few days, he stopped needing his backup briefs. Within a week, he told me, "Doc, I feel cleaner, more like myself again." This isn't just about a drop of urine. It's about self-assurance. It's about going to bed without worrying if you'll need to get up again. It's about walking out of the bathroom with quiet confidence, not discomfort or shame. And here's the beauty of it. This technique is completely free. No medications, no surgeries. Just awareness and patience. The reason most men don't do it is because we're conditioned to rush in and out of the bathroom. Like it's a race, but your bladder is not a fuel tank. It's a system of muscles, nerves, and timing. And like any system, it functions better when given space to reset and finish the job. Will this fix every issue overnight? Of course not. But when combined with what you've already started doing, like magnesium for muscle relaxation and in-bed stretches for pelvic mobility, it adds up to something powerful. You may notice fewer nighttime bathroom trips, a stronger, more complete stream, and the dribble that once left you uneasy might start to fade into the background. And here's something men often overlook. When your bladder empties more fully and your pelvic floor begins to soften and reset, it doesn't just help you in the restroom, it helps you in the bedroom too. That's not a coincidence. The same nerve pathways that help you urinate clearly are connected to the systems that support arousal and erection. When one works better, the other often follows. So tonight, give this a try. Slow down. Take a breath. Wait a few extra seconds after you think you're done. Let your body surprise you. And if this is helping you so far, if something in your gut says, "This is what I've been missing," type the number 1 in the comments to let me know. Because what we're doing here is not just treating symptoms, we're restoring a rhythm. And that brings us to the next step, perhaps the most overlooked one of all. Let's talk about it now. 4. Set this bedtime to boost erections. Set a firm bedtime tonight and treat it like the most important appointment on your calendar. For years, I thought sleep was something you squeezed in between responsibilities. In my late 40s, I stayed up answering emails, reading reports, doing everything except giving myself real rest. Then, in my early 50s, the signs started piling up. I'd wake up feeling groggy, toss and turn through the night, and spend the day trying to shake off a fog that never fully lifted. But what really got my attention wasn't the fatigue. It was when I realized my erections weren't as strong. My libido was slipping. I was waking up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom. And I knew deep down this wasn't just about aging. It was about how I was treating my body. That realization led me to dig into the science of sleep. What I discovered changed everything. Quality sleep is not a luxury, it is a biological necessity, especially for men over 60. It plays a crucial role in everything from hormone production and circulation to bladder function and arousal. The problem is, many men accept poor sleep as their new normal. They say, I get 5 or 6 hours, broken up. That's just part of getting older, right? But the truth is, that's not how it has to be. Your body still needs deep, restorative rest. In fact, it may need it more now than ever before. Sleep is when your testosterone is replenished. It's when cortisol levels drop and blood vessels heal. It's when nitric oxide, the molecule essential for strong erections, is naturally released. It's when your bladder resets and that constant urgency begins to ease. I started asking my older patients about their routines, and over, I heard the same thing. No routine, no rhythm, just staying up until they fell asleep in the recliner. One of them was Ronald, a 72-year-old retired firefighter. Tough guy, no nonsense. Said he hadn't been to bed before midnight in 20 years. He'd watch the news until his eyelids got heavy, then drift off in the chair. When I suggested a strict 10:30 bedtime, he laughed, told me that was for old men. But I challenged him to give it a shot, just for a few weeks. Set the bedtime, get in bed without screens, and let his body relearn what it meant to truly rest. Within a month, Ronald was a different man. He was only waking up once per night instead of 3 times. His morning erections returned. He said he felt clearer, calmer, and more like himself. That shift didn't come from a pill or a procedure. It came from honoring his body's rhythm. Here's what I want you to know. This is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Turn off the TV earlier. Put down the phone. Give yourself 30 minutes of quiet time before bed. Read a book, stretch, or just sit in stillness. Let your body know it's safe to slow down. The reward is worth it. Better sleep leads to better bladder control, more balanced hormones, and a stronger response where it matters most. So tonight, make the commitment. Set your bedtime. Keep it consistent. Give your body the signal it's been waiting for. This one habit, practiced daily, could restore more than you ever imagined. Because once you create the right environment for healing, everything else begins to work in harmony. And now that you've built this foundation with magnesium, stretching, bladder control, and deeper rest, it's time for the final step. It's the one most men avoid, but it may be the most powerful step of all. Let me show you what it is. 5. Relax your pelvic floor for real results. Pelvic floor relaxation, not just about squeezing, but about softening. A few months ago, a man named Dennis walked into my office. He was 66, divorced, thoughtful, and quiet. Not the kind of man to exaggerate or complain. He looked at me and said, I've done the Kegels, taken the supplements, cleaned up my diet. Nothing's working the way I hoped. I still dribble after I pee. And intimacy? It just feels like something I'm losing. His tone wasn't angry, it was tired, like someone who'd done everything right and still felt left behind. Dennis's story wasn't unusual. I've heard it many times. Men trying their hardest to fix something they were told was about strength, only to find that more effort brought more frustration. And it's because most of us were never told that the pelvic floor doesn't just need to be strong. It needs to be relaxed, flexible, responsive. In fact, the real problem for many men isn't weakness, it's tightness, chronic, silent tension that builds up over years of sitting, stress, poor posture, or even holding in emotions we never let ourselves feel. This tension wraps around your bladder, narrows blood flow to the penis, and keeps your nervous system locked in a low-grade state of alert. So I asked Dennis, what if your issue isn't that you're not strong enough, but that your body has forgotten how to let go? He looked at me with curiosity, maybe even a bit of doubt. That's when I taught him a simple practice called balloon breathing. No fancy equipment, no complicated routine, just him, lying on his back each night, taking full, intentional breaths into his lower belly. I told him to inhale slowly through his nose for 4 seconds, feeling his stomach rise like a balloon. Then exhale through his mouth for 6 to 8 seconds, imagining everything from his groin to his lower abdomen, softening and melting into the bed. No forcing, no clenching, just a return to something natural. He began doing it for just 3 minutes before sleep, and 2 weeks later. He came back with a smile I hadn't seen before. "Something's changed," he said. "I'm not rushing to the bathroom in the middle of the night anymore. And when I do go, I'm finishing completely. The dribble is almost gone. And the best part? I've started waking up with real morning wood again. It feels like my body's finally cooperating." That is the power of pelvic floor relaxation. When that deep tension is released, the entire system wakes up. Blood flows better, nerve signals fire more clearly, your bladder empties more fully, your erections become more responsive and more reliable. And most importantly, you begin to feel connected to yourself again, not like a man chasing symptoms, but like a man reclaiming his strength from the inside out. I know for some, breathing exercises may feel like the opposite of action. You might be thinking, "That's it? Just breathing?" But the truth is, this might be the most important work of all, because strength doesn't come only from lifting or squeezing. It comes from balance, from knowing when to release, from building a relationship with your body based not on pressure, but on trust. Dennis told me something that stayed with me. After a month of nightly breathing, he said, "It's not just about the performance. I feel like I'm finally back inside my body, like I'm not at war with it anymore." And that, to me, is the real victory, because once you stop fighting yourself, everything else starts to heal. So tonight, take a few minutes in bed to breathe, feel your lower body soften, let go of the tension you didn't even know you were holding. It might feel small, but this is how we change. One breath at a time, one night at a time. You've already done the work. You've fueled your body with magnesium, opened your hips, emptied your bladder fully, committed to real sleep. Now give your body the space it needs to respond, to heal, to come alive again. Because this last step is not the end. It's the beginning of getting your full self back. You've given your body the chance to reset tonight, from nourishing your system with magnesium to gently releasing the tension in your hips, from emptying your bladder fully to reclaiming deep sleep and finally learning how to let go with your breath. These are not just habits, they are signals to your body that it is safe to heal, to restore, and to rise again. Because strength at this stage of life is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things, with intention and patience. And when you give your body consistency, it responds with clarity, control, and vitality you may have thought were gone for good. So if this spoke to something inside you tonight, take one small step forward. Hit subscribe to stay connected. Type just 2 words in the comments, "Feeling better." Your journey matters. And the best part is, you don't have to walk it alone. I'll be here in the next video with even more tools to help you feel steady, strong, and fully alive. Until then, rest well tonight. Your strength is returning.